The greatest battles fought in the 21st century. The 21st century has considered some of the most excessive and lethal battles in human history. Wars were fought on a couple of fronts, with present-day weaponry and tactics, leaving in the back a path of destruction and loss. In this video, we will take a look at the greatest battles fought in the 21st century. From the War on Terror to conflicts in the Middle East and Asia, the battles of the 21st century have formed the world we stay in today. These battles have examined the limits of human endurance, technology, and strategy, ensuing in some of the bloodiest and most devastating battles in history. Join us as we discover the defining battles of the 21st century, from the tactical genius of army leaders to the bravery and sacrifice of troopers on the front lines. This is a story of courage, strength, and resilience in the face of inconceivable adversity. Get ready to witness the best battles fought in the 21st century, and examine the heroes who fought them. The Battle of Tora Bora used to be a pivotal second in the struggle against terror that happened in December 2001. At the time, the Taliban government of Afghanistan had been overthrown by way of the United States and its allies in the wake of the September 11th attacks. However, many of the pinnacle leaders of the Taliban and Al-Qaeda have been still at large, which include Osama bin Laden. Tora Bora was once a complicated of caves and tunnels in the mountains of Japanese Afghanistan, the place it was once believed that bin Laden and other high-ranking individuals of Al-Qaeda had been hiding. The battle to capture Tora Bora worried a coalition of US, British, and Afghan forces, as nicely as neighborhood tribal militias. The US Navy relied closely on air power, and losing bombs and missiles in the cave complicated and strived to weaken the enemy's defenses. However, the militants proved to be extraordinarily expert at evasion and counterattack, and many had been capable to break out of the location through a community of tunnels. In the end, bin Laden was once no longer captured at Tora Bora, and his whereabouts remained unknown for various years. The conflict has been criticized for being poorly deliberate and executed, with some arguing that greater floor troops must have been used to flush out the enemy. Still, Tora Bora stays a massive match in the history of the battle on terror, and its impact is still felt today. The Battle of Fallujah took region in 2004 in the course of the Iraq War and was once one of the deadliest and most extreme battles of the conflict. Fallujah was once a stronghold of Sunni insurgents who had been battling in opposition to the US-led coalition and the new Iraqi government. The war used to be characterized with the aid of fierce street-to-street fighting, with each aspect taking heavy casualties. The US Army employed an approach of clearing and holding the city, to root out the insurgents and set up an everlasting presence. The war used to be marked by using the heavy use of air and artillery strikes, as properly as the deployment of giant numbers of floor troops. The insurgents fought returned with improvised explosive gadgets, IEDs, and different guerrilla tactics, making growth sluggish and expensive for the coalition forces. Despite the tough conditions, the coalition was once in the end in a position to manipulate Fallujah and set up a new authorities' presence there. The hostilities resulted in enormous civilian casualties, however, and have been criticized for the scale of destruction it caused. The legacy of the war can still be felt in Iraq today, with many arguing that the battle contributed to the rise of the Islamic State in subsequent years. The Battle of Marawi was once a battle that took region in the Philippines in 2017 between authorities' forces and Islamist militants affiliated with the Islamic State. Marawi, a town in the southern province of Llano del Sur, used to be overrun by militants who have been searching to set up a caliphate in the region. The war was once amazing for its size and intensity, lasting for 5 months and ensuing in good-sized harm to the city. The Philippine military, with the help of US and Australian forces, launched a marketing campaign to retake Marawi and cast off the militants. The struggle used to be marked by heavy hostilities in city areas, with the militants the usage of snipers and improvised explosive gadgets to face up to the authorities' forces. The hostilities also noticed the use of drones and different high-tech tools by way of each side. The war ended with the defeat of the militants and the liberation of Marawi, although the town suffered considerable injury and many civilians had been displaced. The fighting highlighted the developing risk of Islamist extremism in Southeast Asia and the challenges dealing with the Philippine authorities in addressing it. The Battle of Aleppo used to be a primary fight that took vicinity in Syria from 2012 to 2016. Aleppo was once as soon as Syria's biggest town and a vital financial center. However, it grew to become a key battleground in the Syrian civil war. The conflict pitted the Syrian authorities' forces, backed by Russia and Iran, against a coalition of rise agencies and Islamist militants. In December 2016, the Syrian authorities' forces had been in a position to retake full management of Aleppo, marking an important turning point in the conflict. This battle resulted in widespread loss of lifestyles and displacement of civilians, and the city stays closely broken to this day. The struggle in Aleppo validated the complexity and brutality of the Syrian civil hostilities and the difficulties confronted using the search to end the conflict. The Battle of Mosul was once an essential war that took vicinity in Iraq from 2016 to 2017, as a section of the ongoing battle in opposition to the Islamic State. Mosul used to be the biggest first held by using the militants and a key strategic goal for the coalition forces. The battle concerned a coalition of Iraqi authorities' forces, Kurdish Peshmerga fighters, and US-led coalition troops. The struggle used to be characterized by severe city fighting, with the militants the use of tunnels, snipers, and suicide bombers to withstand the coalition forces. The struggle also led to a humanitarian crisis, with hundreds of civilians displaced from their homes. In July 2017, the Iraqi authorities declared victory over the Islamic State in Mosul, marking an essential milestone in the battle in opposition to the group. However, the warfare resulted in tremendous loss of existence and destruction, and the town stays closely broken to this day. The hostilities in Mosul highlighted the challenges of city conflict and the significance of addressing the root ethics of extremism. The Battle of Kunduz was once a battle that took location in Afghanistan in 2015, as Taliban forces launched a foremost offensive to seize the city of Kunduz. Kunduz was once the first principal city to fall to the Taliban, given that their ousting from strength in 2001, and the hostilities were once marked by using extreme road conflict and civilian casualties. The struggle resulted in considerable loss of existence and displacement of civilians and highlighted the ongoing challenges confronted by the Afghan authorities in preserving steadiness and protection in the country. The battle in Kunduz also underscored the persistence of the Taliban and different extremist corporations in Afghanistan, regardless of years of worldwide efforts to fight them. The Battle of Hodeidah used to be a war that took region in Yemen in 2018, as a Saudi-led coalition launched an offensive to retake the port town of Hodeidah from Houthi rebels. Hodeidah was once a key strategic target, as it used to be the most important entry point for humanitarian useful resources into the country, which was once struggling from an extreme humanitarian crisis. The 21st century has viewed some of the most extreme and devastating battles in current history. From the struggle in Iraq to the conflicts in Syria and Yemen, these battles have confirmed the complexities and challenges of current warfare, as nicely as the human cost of armed conflict. While some of these battles have resulted in decisive victories, others have endured to rage on with no end in sight. The conflicts have also highlighted the significance of addressing the root reasons for extremism and conflict, such as poverty, inequality, and political instability. We hope you found this video informative and insightful. If you enjoyed this video and would like to see more content like this, please consider subscribing to our channel. By subscribing, you'll be the first to know about our latest videos on history, politics, and international affairs. Also, if you have any suggestions or ideas for future videos, please feel free to leave them in the comments section below. We always appreciate feedback and input from our viewers. Thank you for watching the History Hub.